हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णुवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरम् भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. We shall chant the third Anuvaka. Pranam Deva Anuprananti Manusya Pashavaschaye Prano hi Bhutanāmayuhu Tasmāt Sarvāyushamucchate Sarvam Nevata Ayuryanti Ye Pranam Brahmopasate Prano hi Bhutanāmayuhu Tasmāt Sarvāyushamucchate iti तस्यैष एव शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य तस्माद् वा एतस्मात् प्राणमयात् अन्योन्तर आत्मा मनोमयः तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविदताम् अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य यजुरेव शिरः ऋग्दक्षिणपक्षः सामोत्तरपक्षः आदेश आत्मा अथर्वाङ्गिरसपुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. Here the Shastra indicates the 5 koshas. From that Brahma, which is this Atma, Akash was born, then from Akash Vayu, from Vayu Agni, Jala, Prithvi, and finally the human being. The human being is made up of, the body is made up of food and the essence of food. So from the body all the way inside, that Atma Tattva is indicated. So the body, which has got head and the 2 arms and the middle portion of the body and legs, they are described as the limbs of Annamaya Kosha. So the head and the right arm is the right side, the left arm is the left side, Akash, the middle portion is the Atma, and the Prithvi is the Pratishtha. Prithvi gives support to this body. So this body we consider as I. So when we, by mistake, consider this physical body as I, then that is indicated as Annamaya Atma. Inside this body, there is another Atma, which is called the Pranamaya Atma. The Pranamaya Kosha, when we identify with the Pranamaya Kosha, it is called the Pranamaya Atma. So our body, physical body, is activated by this Pranamaya Atma, Pranamaya Kosha. And what are the limbs of this Pranamaya Kosha? The teacher says, Tasya prana eva shiraha. So in the Pranamaya Kosha, there are these 5 expressions of this prana. Prana, Jnana, Apana, Samana, Udana. These are the expressions of prana in this body. So prana is the outgoing breath, is like the shirah. One should imagine it as the shirah, the head. And Vyana, which is that Vayu which circulates in this body everywhere, that is the right side. And Apana, which is the outgoing breath, outgoing Vayu, through which we excrete, that is the left side. And Akasha Atma. Akash is that Vayu which is there in Akash, that Saman Vayu is the Atma. And Prithvi Pucham Pratishtha. Prithvi is the Pratishtha, the support. Prithvi gives support to this prana. The Mahima of this prana is indicated Pranam Deva Anuprananti. Following this prana, the Devtas also breathes. So there are these various Devtas, they also survive on prana. Even our senses are indicated as Devtas. So senses also function because of prana. So in human beings as well as in animals, life is possible because of prana. Prana itself is the life expressing in all these beings. So prano hi bhutanam ayuhu. Therefore, prana is indicated as the ayu, the life of all beings. In this we see, as long as pranas are there in this body, the body is alive. And once the pranas leave the body falls down dead. So prano hi bhutanam ayuhu. Tasmat sarvayushamuchyate. Therefore, this prana is called sarvayusha. It's the ayu of all the beings. All beings are alive because of prana only. Sarvamevat ayuryanti ye pranam brahmopasate. One who meditates on prana as Brahma. So one should, when one meditates on prana as Brahma, then such a upasak gains full ayuhu. That prana itself is present in all the beings, and because of prana only, all beings are alive. So shifting one's attention, Shankaracharya says, shifting one's attention from this gross physical body, he says, Ataha asmat bhagyat asadharana annamayat atmanah apakramyantah sadharanam pranamaya atmanam brahma upaste ye aham asmi pranah sarvabhutanam atma ayuhu jivanam jivana hetutvat iti. That one, when one shifts one attention from this physical body and pays attention only to the pranas, and not only to the prana which is present in our body, but one should meditate on the prana which is present in all beings and meditate on that prana as Brahma. Life in me, life in all the beings is that prana only. See, even a tiny little ant is alive because of prana. And the same prana which is there in the ant is present in me, is present in other animals, is present in the devatas, is present in all the beings. So prana itself is Brahma. In this way, one has to do the upasana, identify with the pranas. I am the very ayu of all the beings. I am that universal prana. So when one meditates in this way, they attain complete ayu, purna ayu. Purna ayu, shatam varshani iti tu yuktam, 100 years. One can live till 100 years in this, on this earth. So that is the prana upasana. Shankaracharya ji, he gives the logic behind this upasana and the phala of this upasana. He says, Yo yad gunakam brahma upaste sa tad gunabhag bhavati iti vidyaphala praptehe hetvartah hetvartam punarvachanam prano hi ityadi. He says that whatever bhavana we meditate on that Brahma, we get the result according to that bhavana. So when we meditate on Brahma as prana, the universal prana, which is the life of all beings, then we get the result of this upasana as a long life, a complete life. So this is the upasana which is mentioned here. So prano hi bhutanam ayu tasmat sarvayushamuchyata iti. So prana is the ayu of all beings, therefore it is called sarvayusha. Tasyesha eva sharira atma yap guruvasya. So this prana is the atma of the previous kosha. So the annamaya kosha, the atma of this annamaya kosha is this pranamaya kosha. Because of this pranamaya kosha only, annamaya kosha functions. So in this way, the inner koshas are indicated as the atma of the outer kosha. But the ultimate atma is that supreme atma only. So we identify with this prana, we consider this prana as atma. So prana becomes the atma of the annamaya kosh. But within this prana, there is that supreme atma. So that supreme atma is the atma of all. तथा स्वाभाविकेन अपि आकाशादि कारणेन नित्येन अविकृतेन सर्वगतेन सत्य ज्ञानानंत लक्षणेन पंचकोशातिगेन सर्वात्मना आत्मवन्तः. So all these koshas are atmavanta because of that atma which is satyam jnanam anantam. But not knowing that atma, we identify with the koshas. So these koshas become the atma of the outer kosha. The inner koshas, they are like the atma of the outer kosha. So our physical body functions because of the pranamaya kosha. But the pranamaya kosha as well as the annamaya kosha functions because of the inner atma, and that is manomaya kosha. So manomaya kosha is the atma of pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha is the atma of annamaya kosha. So in this way we have to understand this. So what is this manomaya kosha? That now the teacher says, tasmad va etasmat pranamayat anyantara atma manomayaha. Other than this pranamaya, which is that Brahma only, pranamaya kosha, annamaya kosha also is derived from Brahma. So this pranamaya kosha, inside this pranamaya kosha, there is another kosha which is called manomaya kosha. So tasmad va etasmat pranamayat anyantara atma manomayaha. When we identify with this manomaya kosha as myself, then it is indicated as manomaya atma. So this manomaya kosha is the atma of pranamaya kosha. Atma means because of which the pranamaya kosha functions. Say for example, this body is there, It can move around because of pranas. Without prana, the body cannot function. So pranas are the atma of this physical body, but the pranas cannot function without the mind. When the mind thinks, then the pranas they function. For example, I have to walk somewhere. So the thought of walking, when it comes to the mind, then that thought activates the pranas, and the pranas in turn activates the body. So without the backing of the mind, the pranas will not express, pranas will not function. So mind is the atma of that pranamaya kosha. So here, what is this pranamaya, this manomaya kosha? What are the limbs that is being said? So tasmad vai tasmad pranamayat anyantara atma manomaya tenaisha purnaha. So by this manomaya kosha, the pranamaya kosha is filled. Pranamaya kosha is completely filled by manomaya kosha. Sava Isha Purusha Vidaha. And this, just like this pranamaya kosha is of the form of this human being, just like our physical body has a human form, so the pranamaya kosha also has a human form. Similarly, the manomaya kosha also is indicated as having a human form, having a head, having two sides, having the middle portion, having the support. So, what is the head of this Manomaya kosha? Now, in a very interesting, the teacher says, कि तस्य पुरुष विधताम अन्वयम पुरुष विधः. That Manomaya kosh, which is of the form of a Purusha, a human form, following the human form of this prana, of that Manomaya kosh, tasya yajureva shiraha. What is the shira? What is the head of this Manomaya kosh? He says Yajuhu. What is this Yaju? Yajurved. Yajurved is the head of Manomaya Kosha. First we will see what is being conveyed and try to understand the deeper significance of this that is conveyed. Tasya Yajureva Shiraha Rig Dakshina Pakshaha. Rigved. Rig means Rigved is the Dakshina Paksha, the right arm, the right side, of the right wing, of the right arm. And Sam Uttara Paksha, and Samaved is Uttara Paksha, means the left side, or the left wing. And Adesha Atma, and what is the middle portion of this Manomaya Kosh? The central portion, that is Adesh. Adesh means command. Adesh Atma. And what about the Pratishtha? It says Atharvangi Rasa Pucham Pratishtha. Atharvangi Rasa. Atharvangi Rasa. Atharvangi Rasa is the Rishi, Atharva Rishi. So Atharvangi Rasa is the Pucham Pratishtha, is the tail, it is the support of this Manomaya kosha. Now it's very strange that the scripture is describing this Manomaya kosha But it is indicating that this kosha is nothing but the Vedas. So how to understand this? How come this Vedas are this Manomaya kosha? So Shankaracharya ji then explains all this. See, otherwise, mind is made up of our thinking. Mind is defined as sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. And manomaya literally means made up of mind. So manomaya kosha is made up of mind only. And mind is nothing but thinking, our thoughts. And these two types of thoughts are there broadly called sankalpa vikalpa. Means thinking pros and cons, to do or not to do, to go or not to go. See, before we decide, we evaluate the situation, we feel the situation, and thereafter we decide. The decision making faculty is the intellect, but the thinking faculty is the mind. So we keep evaluating, keep thinking, keep feeling. So that is the mind. So whatever we pursue, the impression goes to the mind, then it evaluates, it thinks about it, and then the intellect takes the decision. For example, we go uh, to the market, we do some window shopping, we look into the window and we see a nice dress in that window display. So we stand there and look at that dress and keep on thinking, even imagining and visualizing that how I will look if I wear that dress. So I keep thinking. That faculty which is doing that thinking is called mind. And as I'm thinking, I'm struggling to decide whether to buy that dress or not to buy. So I think about the money which I have in my pocket. I think about the money which I have in my bank. I think about all the possibilities. If I buy, what will happen? Will it be useful? Will it be too much? So all this thinking which is done by the mind. That is called the mind. It might take a lot of time also. Some people keep on thinking. Then they postpone their thinking also. They say, "Chalo, tomorrow I will come and again I will think." Or maybe I will take help of someone to think. Let me consult my wife or my husband. Let me ask my friend. Let me check again. Or let me go inside this shop and just look at the material, but will not buy now. Let me wear it and see how I look. So all this thinking which happens is the mind. And finally, when we decide, okay, let me buy, or we decide, no, I won't buy, intellect. But intellect we will talk about later. Here, the teacher is talking about the mind. But here, the mind, the different limbs of the mind is indicated as the Vedas. So why Vedas are given here as the limbs? And what is this Yajurved? See, Yajurved, Rigved, Samaved, all these Vedas are made up of mantras. All those words and all those sentences which are there in the Vedas, they are called mantras. Mantras means mananat trayate. When we think about those mantras, when we contemplate on those mantras, then they bless us, they protect us. Therefore, they are called mantras. And when these mantras do not have any proper structure, means they are not poetic, but they are in prose form, then they are called Yajurveda mantras. They are the Yajurveda mantras. They don't have any particular structure in their formation of their sentences, but they are used for karma kanda to perform certain rituals. So they are the Yajur mantras. Since the rituals are the main thing about the Vedas, they instruct us to perform various types of rituals in which the Yajur mantras are prominent. So the Yajurved is indicated here as the head of the Manomaya Kosha. Because whatever mantras we chant with our tongue, we use various types of swaras to chant the mantras. We use the various varnas to chant the mantras. There are various sentences. There are various words which are uttered. So those are the mantras. The mantras are nothing but made up of varna, swara, and they are chanted in a particular way. They are pronounced from a particular place in our mouth. But their source is the mind. Means whatever we chant, our mind is behind that chanting. We cannot chant anything without the mind giving support to that chanting. So all these mantras are also coming from the mind. See, when we heard some mantras also, sometimes we might feel that my mind is not there, but from the mind only the mantras are coming. Mind only is giving expressions to those mantras. So these mantras are expressions of our mind. Therefore, the mind itself is indicated here as Yajurved, as Samaved, as Rigved. When there is no particular structure in those mantras, then it is Yajurved mantras. When these mantras have a fixed structure, when they are poetic, when they have a particular chanda, particular meter, then those mantras are Rigveda mantras. And when these structured, proper mantras are sung, when they can be sung, then they are the Samaveda mantras. So the Yajurveda mantras are indicated as the head of the pranamaya, of the Manomaya Kosha. Rig Veda mantras are like the right side of the Manomaya Kosha, The Samaveda mantras are like the left side of the Manomaya Kosh. And Adesh. Adesh is the instruction. The command is given. In the Shastras, the command is given that you perform this ritual. So those are the Brahmana Vakyas, the Brahmana portion of the Vedas. See, the Vedas have different portions: the mantra, the Brahmana, the Aranyaka. So, in the Brahmana portion of the Vedas, there are Adesh given that you perform this upasana, you perform this ritual. So, this Adesh is like the heart of this Vedas. So that Adesh is indicated here as the Atma, as the middle portion of the body of Manomaya Kosh. So Adesh Atma. And this Vedas, though they are Anadi Ananta, they get expressed through some great rishis. The great rishis, they become a nimitta. Through them, the Vedas are expressed. Just like Vishwamitra Rishi, through Vishwamitra Rishi, the Gayatri Mantra got expressed. Gayatri Mantra is Anadi Ananta, Apaurushaya. But in this Yuga, Gayatri Mantra was first seen by Vishwamitra Rishi, and he expressed it. Therefore, Vishwamitra is considered as the Rishi of Gayatri Mantra. Just like in our science, we talk about, in modern science, though things are mentioned in the Vedas, but in modern science, Newton is considered as the one who discovered gravitational law. Even before Newton, gravitational law was existing. But Newton became the first person to, as though, see this gravitational law. Therefore, the gravitational law, which is Anadi Ananta, is named after Newton. Similarly, the mantras of the Vedas are Anadi Ananta, but there are certain rishis who became the mantra drashta, and those mantras were named after them. So even the Atharva Veda mantras are named after Atharva Rishi. So Atharvangi Rasap Pucham Pratishtha. So that Atharva or Rishi is like the foundation, the support of this Vedic mantras. So Atharva Rishi represents all the rishis and is the support of the Vedas, support of the Manomaya Kosh. So Manomaya Kosh is depicted here as having the limbs of the Vedas. Vedas are the limbs of this Manomaya Kosh. But there is one question. And what is the question? That the Vedas are indicated as Anadi, Ananta, Apaurushaya. They are also Satyam. They don't change. So, but the mind keeps on changing. So how come the mind is indicated as the limbs of this Manomaya Kosh is indicated as the Vedas? So Shankaracharya writes that when we say the Vedas are actually Anadi Ananta only. Vedas are the knowledge of that Brahma, which is Anadi Ananta, and it gets expressed through the mind. The mind becomes just a vehicle. The mind is just a vehicle. Mind itself is not the Vedas. The mind is just a vehicle of those Vedas. Shankaracharya writes, कि तस्मात् मनोवृत्ति उपाधि परिच्छिन्नम मनोवृत्ति निष्ठम आत्मचैतन्यम अनादि निधनम. That Atma Chaitanya, which is present, which is the Veda, which expresses through the mind. It's like the sun. The sun is very powerful. The sun gets reflected in the waters. The waters also appear shining like the sun. But the waters are just a medium through which the sun shines. The waters are not the sun. Similarly, mind is just a medium through which the Vedas they express. Mind themselves are not the Vedas. So through the thoughts of the mind, the Vedas are expressed. So Vedas are Anadi, Ananta, Apaurusheya. And when we contemplate on the Vedic mantras, then that contemplation, that thinking is the mind. So here the teacher is, while revealing this Manomaya Kosha, is also indirectly revealing the greatness of the Vedas. Vedas, they contain all the knowledge not only of karma, but knowledge of Brahma. So when we tune our mind to the knowledge revealed in the Vedas, then that tuning will help us in our sadhana. So this Manomaya Kosha is nothing but mind only, but all our thinking, when they are tuned to the Vedas, then the Manomaya Kosha as though becomes supremely purified. See, those who do not know anything about the Vedas, those who have other worldly thoughts in their mind, they also have Manomaya Kosha. And they identify with this Manomaya Kosha and consider it as Atma, Manomaya Atma. But since their thoughts goes into the worldly objects and all, they will not be able to transcend this Manomaya Kosha and ultimately realize that Brahma. Here the teacher is guiding the seeker to go through these 5 koshas, transcend them, and realize that Brahma. And this Manomaya Kosha is indicated here having the Vedas as its limbs. So tasya yajureva shiraha. So of this Manomaya Kosha, Yajurved is the shiraha, is the head. Rigved is the right side. Samaved is the left side. Adesha, those Brahmana Vakyas, which gives the direct command to perform certain rituals. They are indicated here as the Atma. And Atharva Angirasa, the Rishi, Atharva Rishi, who represents all other rishis, is like Pucham Pratishtha, is the support of this Manomaya Kosha. Hmm. So the Rishi is taking us slowly on this inner journey. So Stula Sharir, everyone knows. Inside this Stula Sharir is the Pranamaya Kosha, which is the Atma of the Stula Sharir. And inside this Pranamaya Kosha is the Manomaya Kosha, which is the Atma of Pranamaya Kosha. But this Manomaya Kosha is indicated here as having the Vedas as its limbs. As I have said before also, the Vedas are Anadi, Ananta, and Apaurushaya, and Vedas are the Praman for understanding Dharma and perceiving the path of Dharma, as well as to understand Brahma and pursue the path of Brahma. So, after talking about this Manomaya Kosha and its limbs, in the next Anuvaka, the teacher gives the Mahima of this Manomaya Kosha and then also indicates the Vijnanamaya Kosha. So let us chant Anuvak number 4. यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न बिभेति कदाचनेति तस्यैष एव शरीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य तस्माद् वा एतस्मात् मनोमयात् अन्योन्तर आत्मा विज्ञानमयः तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविदताम् अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य श्रद्धैव शिरः ऋतं दक्षिणपक्षः सत्यमुत्तरपक्षः योग आत्मा महपुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. The Mahima of this Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha, which is this our mind, it has got the capacity to think. And depending on the data which is provided to this mind, it keeps on thinking. And through the thinking process, it comes to various understanding. The thinking also propels us into actions, and thinking also leads us to knowledge. Thinking is a very, very interesting faculty which we have. As human beings, we proactively we can think. See, nowadays we have this artificial intelligence also. We have this AI, which are there, one can use them, this artificial intelligence in various applications. We have the chat, GPT and all those things. So how does this AI function? The AI functions in a very mechanical way. Whatever information is available is made available to this machine, and it can compute this information at a very high speed and can give us the result instantly. So like ChatGPT, whatever question you ask, It can be any question about the world, question about anything, about psychology, about medicine, about art, about law, about philosophy also, and specific also. We can ask the chat GPT about Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, as per Adi Shankaracharya, and it gives you all the answers. So how come this chat GPT knows all these answers? It has got, the machine has got the information, whatever a human beings have collected. So through our conversations, we pass on a lot of information. Through various writings, we have so many information. So there is a huge storehouse of information. And depending on how much that information is available to that machine, it computes, it goes through that information and gives me the SAR instantly. Even those questions which were not asked by anyone to the machine, if you ask, then it will go through the whole process instantly and give you the answer. So what does it do? It just think over the it just uses that information and arrives at that answer. Same thing is done by our mind. Lot of data gets collected through our senses. We keep on seeing, hearing, tasting, touching constantly. Then we keep on hearing things on television, on the radio, through other people. We read so many books. We read the newspapers. We listen to other people. We read their chats and we read articles, and so many information keep on entering our system. And the mind keeps on thinking about all these things. And if some question is asked to the mind, it thinks and it arrives at that answer. That answer may be right, the answer may be wrong, depends on how I'm using this faculty of thinking. But that faculty of thinking is there. So to this mind, if we give the right input, if we give the input from our Shastras, from the Vedas, from the Upanishads, from Ramayana, from Mahabharata, then the mind will have good data. And by churning over this data, the mind will come up with good answers, with good response. For example, at home somebody is not well. There is some, nowadays the climate has changed here in Delhi also. It is becoming very, very hot. So due to change in weather, sometimes we fall sick. So when we are not well or somebody is not well, then we go through all the data which we have in our head, in our memory, and then we compute and then we arrive at some solution. Solution may be right or wrong also, but it is derived from all the information which I have collected. And especially, I don't know about other countries, but in India, almost all people in India are great doctors or great psychologists. If they see anyone sick, immediately they will tell you the some solution. ये काढ़ा बना के पी लो, थोड़ा सा उसमें जो है वो तुलसी पत्ता डाल दो, हल्दी डाल दो, काला मिर्ची डाल दो, अदरक डाल दो, और उसको अच्छी तरह से उबाल दो. Some other person will come, no, 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 don't all these kadas and all. You take this tablet, take one in the morning, take one in the evening, and you will be fine. Some other person will come and say, no, 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 useless. You do one thing. You take, you just put in, take some steam, hot steam. So everyone acts like a doctor. And if you're not feeling happy, your mood is off, you're feeling sad and all, then everyone will behave like a great psychologist or a philosopher. ये सब माया है, दुनिया जो है सब तमाशा है. What you are crying and all. Yesterday you were crying, today you are happy, tomorrow you will again cry. This all keep on changing. This is all the Leela of Bhagwan. Don't have to take it so seriously. Bhagwan in Bhagavad Gita also says that one who can bear with the ups and downs of this life, sukha dukkha and all, then such a person is really strong and good. So how come all these people they behave like a doctors or psychologists or philosophers and all? Because we have storehouse of information within us. So when the right question is asked to us, then we just compute something and come up with the answer, like Chat GPT. But here the teacher is saying that have the input of the Vedas, then the answers will be good. Then you will know what type of actions you should perform, and you will also arrive at the right, deeper understanding. So, our mind is a very, very interesting and important instrument. With the help of the mind, we can make our actions proper and we can also progress on our spiritual journey. Therefore, here the limbs of this mind, Manomaya, Kosha, is indicated as the Vedas. So, not only the Vedas, we should also understand all the knowledge which we derive from other shastras like the Itihas, means Ramayana, Mahabharata, then all the Dharma Shastras, then all the Puranas. They are, they are like the limbs. They should be made into the limbs of our Manomaya Kosha. Then we will be able to progress well. Mind by itself may not be able to comprehend that Brahma, but mind can help us to move towards that Brahma. Here the teacher, while giving the Mahima of the mind, he says that yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. He says that Brahma is that which is so subtle that when we try to describe that Brahma, even our Vani, our speech turns back without fully describing Brahma. Not only our speech, but even our mind turns back. Aprapya manasasaha. Yato vacho nivartante. Our Vani takes a U-turn along with the mind before attaining, without attaining that Brahma. Anandam Brahmano Vidwan. That supreme Brahma. But it can be known, and one who knows that Brahma, Anandam Brahmano Vidwan, one who knows that Ananda Brahma, he becomes free of all fears. Na bibheti kadachaneti, will not be afraid of anything ever. So more about this we will see in our class on Monday. And we will also see the next, that Kosha, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is also very beautifully described here. It's a very, very subtle kosha. That also we will see in our class on Monday. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, relatives, and see you again soon. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram 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 Jaya Ram. जय जय राम बोलिए सिया रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।